And we're moving on to our riverboat cruise, and we're just taking the train to Marseille and then on to Arles. No sign of any trains yet. So we finally made it to Arles, and we're just going to have a sandwich before going on the boat. Nothing but the best, no expense spared. And we're in Arles, we made it to the boat, and there'll be some pictures of that later. This is coming up through the gates of the old town, and we're just walking into it. Unfortunately, there's a fun fair next to our ship, so it's a bit noisy, but I'll take some pictures of that in a minute. The Colosseum here is amazing. I had no idea it was so big. Just walked up to what's called the viewing point in Arles, and it's nice and quiet here. We're walking back along the Rhone, and our boat is parked over there, but you still can't see it because it's hidden behind another one. We're still parked in the dock at Arles, but we're taking a side trip to a sound and light show in an old quarry, and this show is called Carrière de Lumière. After the sound and light show, we're going to St. Remy to visit the asylum where Vincent van Gogh was incarcerated and where, among other things, he painted the Starry Nights picture. We just walked round to the back of the asylum, and this is the view from the rear. Just getting ready to go on a walking tour around this town of Arles before leaving to go to Avignon. We're in the inside of the hospital where Van Gogh was taken after he cut his ear off. And this is the garden he painted, one of his famous pictures. Just finished our tour around the area downtown Arles, and the light as we walk back to the ship is really quite remarkable. Heavy clouds and bright sun. And there's our ship very well hidden behind and inside another, and the fun fair next to it. And in about an hour we're going to be leaving and heading to Avignon. We're just getting ready for the sail away, and they have to get rid of this boat that's next to us before we can head off to Avignon. Well, it's just starting to move away now, using the side thrusters. Well, we're moving. Well, here's a different view. We're in the cabin, and as you can see, we're quite close to the water, and we're actually travelling quite fast.
We're motoring.
Good job we don't get seasick. Well, not yet, anyway. We're on the way to Avignon. We've now reached Avignon, and we're out for a walk in the evening looking at the bridge. And since we've been here before, our trip tomorrow will not be round the Pope's Palace, but we're going to a Roman aqueduct, Pont du Gard. Today we're visiting a 2,000-year-old Roman aqueduct called Pont du Gard.
Is the loom town of France in the past. It's the town of the fabrics, the town of the weavers. And in fact, the Protestant faith swept through this part of France, influencing Nîmes so much that it became 2/3 Protestant. And the town of Uzes became Protestant as well.
We're now in the town of Uzes.
Bonjour, messieurs. Ils vont se geler les touristes. Oui, c'est pas grave.
This afternoon we're visiting a winery in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. The vineyards here are very interesting due to the rocky surface that the vines are growing through. Our guide told us that the vines often have to put their roots down at least 20 feet to get to some decent soil. According to our guides, there is actually a considerable advantage to the rocky terrain. When it gets cold at night, the vines are kept warm by the heat that's built up during the day in all these rocks, and apparently it contributes to the flavor of these wines. Now we're going to get to the good bit. I'm about to try out the new silver tasty van that I bought at the antique market in Nice. Here's the owner of the vineyard getting ready to hand out a couple of glasses of wine. It was all very interesting, but I'm afraid that after a while we got a bit of wine information overload. I discovered that the tasty van enhances the colour and appearance of the wine, but doesn't do much for the fragrance, so after the first couple of testings I went back to the glass, which is much more effective. And here we are at Grignon Perched Village.
Like a bookmark kind of, you know? That's a very smart idea.
In reality, it's what we call a hybrid plane tree. It's not exactly the one you know in England, in England or in America. And Spain. At the end of the visit, you can have a little bit of time for everything.
Not quite at the top of the castle yet, but soon will be. We're up at the top now.
Lavender. And you
Lavender.
Can smell it.
Today we're going around a truffle farm. In the past they used to use pigs to hunt the truffles, but when the pigs found a truffle they would eat it. So now they use these dogs from Italy, and they are trained to find the truffles and not eat them.
Tu ne la manges pas, Mimi, où allez? Où allez, cherche, allez, vas-y.
And Amy, he says to Amy the whole time.
Là, 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 voilà, hop, 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 hop. Hop, 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 là, chut, chut. Il faut qu'elle la bouffe. Tu as vu, regarde, ça, elle la partage. C'est incroyable ça. Alors pour vous faire voir qu'elle aime bien la truffe, on enlève un morceau. Quand on n'a pas de récompense, voilà ce qu'on fait. Mais il ne faut pas y en donner toute la journée, quoi. Aïe aïe aïe, celle-là, je te jure. Allez, on continue. Tiens, ma Mimi. Et une caresse, c'est important. Allez, on continue, Mimi. On cherche. Allez, vas-y. Alors, on peut chercher pendant 4-5 heures. On peut ramasser 2 à 3 kilos dans la journée. Où allez, Mimi, cherche. Où allez? Elle y est là? Elle est déjà là? Elle n'est pas profonde, dis. Elle n'était pas profonde, ouais. Mais qu'est-ce que c'est? Mais c'est pas un moi, ça, si? Si?
Petit.
Mais si, c'est un morceau, dis. Je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il foutait là. J'ai pas mis cette truffe là, moi. Je sais pas. Je comprends pas.
Well, we're in Rhone, and it's another dull, drizzly day, and this is a pretty dingy, unfriendly town, but we're just walking around anyway. There's a couple of riverboats, including ours, and coming around to the castle, which is built on a huge piece of rock. So this is a view inside our cabin, which is quite nice. And as you can see, we're really scooting along, and we're just going up to Vienne, where we're going to spend the night. Today we're in Vienne, and we're going to go around a church they used to store Roman artifacts.
Instead of going to the mountains to take the stones to build their houses and their churches, they took the stones from the closest place where they had the Roman cities. So
Well, we made it to the top. Today we're in Lyons and we're going to do a tour around the old town, including some of the old streets, and also a very interesting tour through old walkways that you're allowed to use between buildings to get from one street to another.
Yeah, well, I know it just it messed up my vacation. It sure messed up my trip. Yeah, those leather slippers. I know. Let's get there. Oh, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to check out. This is like chateau.
If you look for the pink tower, don't worry. Everybody knows it. And worry too. So that's not the only one. We have like 10.
So it's Thursday morning and we're in Lyons and we're just getting ready to leave. Looks like we're making a left turn and we're going to go down off the Rhone onto the Saône and do a little adventure this afternoon up the Saône and then return to this location this evening. We've just gone in a circle and this looks like the Riverboat parking lot and we really squeezed out of a tight space. Ship's just turned around and we're about to go up the Saône, which is the left-hand side. We're here in the Beaujolais region. This is another of these perched villages and it's really quiet. There's 300 people and there's nobody around. Not even the usual mangy barking dogs. It's eerie. So here's the place and that's how you spell it.
Spooky, quiet villages.
Choirs, for example, you don't see them because they are buried. You have a lot of artists in this village, but the village looks very quiet because on weekdays the artists don't open their shops.
Lovely view from this place.
Et l'idée, j'aime cette idée parce qu'on est parti de rien.
Canada or US. Same. But not this.
Et dans les années 70,
In the 70s,
il y en a un, il a essayé de faire ça. Là.
one man invented something new.
Ça n'a pas marché, hein, parce que marrant. Donc on est deux doigts comme ça, vous les mettez à l'intérieur.
Just getting ready to go from Lyon to Paris on the TGV.
Well, he is a professor at Saxon, so he was
Saturday morning in Paris, and that's Charlemagne's statue outside Notre Dame. With all the mandatory construction everywhere. So we're just waiting for our guide and taking some pictures just off the river around the cathedral.
Try not to get the glasses.
This big arch is 100 meter by 100. The Arch of Triumph here is 50 by 50. And later in our tour, right in the middle of the Louvre, we will see another one which is 25 meter by 25. So you see each time it doubles size. And this is what we call the royal perspective. Big shopping area with the main names. You see Cartier, you will see Lancel. And then on the right, this glass building is the drugstore Publicis. Drugstore Publicis, which is open 24 hours. Next boutique to come is Louis Vuitton, the largest Louis Vuitton in the world, right up here. They limit the number of pieces they sell to 6 per person. You know this tiny little purse which costs a bomb and that you can't fit anything in? That's the one here at Louis Vuitton. And right across the street, the red awning is Fouquet's.
Well, we've left the tour and we've had lunch, and this is Place Vendôme with this big Egyptian monolith thing. In keeping with this trip being our pastry and coffee tour of France, this is a candy shop we've just discovered. More of the same. We're in the Jardin des Tuileries, just walking around. It's very like the National Mall in Washington. And just scanning around. And there's the obelisk, and behind it the Arc de Triomphe. Well, we made it all the way up the Champs-Élysées, and we're now at the Arc de Triomphe, and we're hoping to get up there. Now we're climbing the Arc de Triomphe. Oh, it's a long way down. Well, those are the last steps and we made it. And here's a camera shot of people down below the arch.
哦，对，那个男的往上面看，哎，看那个男的往上面。哦，对。
Wow. The view of all these boulevards coming up to here is unbelievable. Monday morning, our last day here, and we've just got out of the metro station at Arles, and we're heading for the funicular to take us up to Sacré-Cœur. Still on the way to Sacré-Cœur.
Oh, I guess we can't see it because I think it's over there. There's Mont Parnasse.
Oh, we're climbing up the stairs to the Sacré-Cœur dome, and we're about halfway up. I think this is it. Okay, smile. There's the Montparnasse Tower, which we went up, and if you scan round to the right, past this dome, through the haze, you can see the Eiffel Tower. As we walk around, we've now come to the Bell Tower, which would have been noisy half an hour ago. Looking at some very expensive accommodation down there right below Sacré-Cœur. Down below we can see Place du Théâtre, and there's a cafe down there with 2 seats that have our names on them.
Where I got those pictures that we had.
Yes. And for a crate before we do anything else. We're on the way to the Boulevard de Clichy, and they've started washing the streets again. So this is Place Pigalle, and we're just walking along Boulevard de Clichy, maybe up as far as the Moulin Rouge. So we've just walked down Boulevard de Clichy and finally arrived at the Moulin Rouge. Just got off the Ile de la Cité and we're walking to a favourite pastry shop. And there's a line-up. And when you can't find a washroom, there's always the good old Mickey D's. We're in the Luxembourg Gardens, and there's some kind of a protest going on. Not sure what it is. Hope we can get out of here. So we're just walking through the Luxembourg Gardens as we go back to our hotel and finish our French movie.